What the heck is a evolutionary anthropologist?
Oh, an evolutionary anthropologist is, I guess, broadly speaking, that's kind of what I am, is somebody who studies how we came about as human beings. So my sort of evolutionary linguistics, historical linguistics, does that, fits into that in some level, and uses language to figure out where we came from and why we are who we are.
It's a twisted and sordid tale.
It really is that we don't know, we don't have all the answers for yet. I'll tell you that
Yeah,
already.
if it wasn't for the stirrup, we'd all be speaking German.
Oh, sure.
So there, that's all I know. Congratulations on Pole to Pole with Will Smith. It must have been so much fun to do this.
Yeah, it was a blast. And Will was really fun. John Iney, who is he's a friend now. Like, how could he not be? It was just so much fun adventuring with those guys. And obviously amazing to have the platform to talk about how cool language science is.
Yeah, and the history of languages, it's just such a beautiful, beautiful story about how things evolved and how we named things and how some of those names just stay with us. I mean,
Hmm.
despite language changes.
Yep, that's true. We have, they say that basic vocabulary, these words that I talk about, that we kind of document first, the human body, things that everybody has in every culture and every environment. These kinds of words tend to not change unless there's a really big sort of dominance from another language or culture that causes them to change. And it's fascinating that they really do kind of stay static.
How many languages do you speak?
Um, Speak,
Or
not,
do you,
this
I
is
should
the
say
question.
understand? How many
I have to say, this is
languages?
a question that linguists hate.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you. No, I'm kidding. Um, because I speak a handful. Languages I know intimately, uh, at a deep, deep level that I can analyze and have sat with for hours. That maybe in the groove with speakers, I could also speak, but I wouldn't say that I would speak well. That's a lot. That's a lot of languages, more than I could probably count. But I wouldn't say that I speak those fluently.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing how to me how language just survives, as I was pointing out. I mean, in I'm from California. I live in Salt Lake
Okay.
now, but and there are places in California that have been named like Magoo, Point Magoo, and
Yeah.
things like that that have just they're not Spanish names. They're not,
Mm.
native names. They've just been called that forever.
Mm. Yeah, place names are really key. It's interesting to bring that up. A lot of the work that we did that, wasn't on camera necessarily, but a lot of the work that I did with the group of elders, related to place names because place names, you have words that are sometimes embedded that people don't think about. As you just said, oh yeah, that's Magoo Point. And they don't think about why is that Magoo Point? But when you've got somebody asking, what does that mean? And I don't know what that means. I just know it's Magoo Point. Actually, my grandfather told me once why it was Magoo Point. And it does that same sort of tickling the linguistic memory when you're in a situation of an endangered language, where it's like, why is it this little section of land called X? Oh, yeah, there is a story about it. And then someone else remembers it. And then you've got all this beautiful linguistic information that so much can be done with.
Will Smith has got to be a hoot, as we say here in Utah, to work with.
Yeah, he was really, really fun. And I have to say, um, he's very easy. He's really just a kind person as well. So coming into an island like Nusi, that's very, very far away with a small population, maybe not everybody even knew who he was. And to come into that situation and to just adapt, and get into the groove of being my research assistant. Also, he really adapted. I mean, he was fun and obviously a pro, but he has a knack for linguistics. And I told him that when we were there, and maybe his music background, or maybe he's just a natural linguist. The way he would ask questions in this session, was really impressive. At one point, I was like, that's the exact question that I was going to ask. That's perfect. And his repetition of sounds was really impressive as well. So yeah, he was fun to work with, but also a very good research assistant.
Yeah, I've known Will for a long, long time, and he
Okay.
is a brilliant human being. I mean, he's
Yeah.
not what people really, think of him as a movie star. He's well read.
Mm,
He has this yearning to learn.
yeah. Yeah, that comes off very clearly. Everything that I wanted to convey about language and the importance of language and how it's this anchor to who we are and our collective human history. He got it right away, and it was such a joy to see him light up over that. So it was a pleasure. Yeah.
Being uh, on these shoots like this, and going into places that hardly anybody ever goes, it's got to be grueling as well as fun. Talk to me a little bit about that part of your job. I mean, it
Yeah.
can get uncomfortable.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty experienced with remote field work now, but every time it's new, it's different. And I think the key word is adaptation. Again, you know you're coming in as a guest, as
Hmm.
an outsider. You have to be really open. You have to go in with a plan and be very organized and be ready for that plan to fall apart completely and go to plan B and plan C and plan D and just be ready to say, okay, my recorder fell into the ocean. So what am I going to do? Or, or we're only going to eat bananas because that's all they have on this island. So I'm going to eat bananas for a few weeks and that's going to be fine.
Wow.
Um, yeah, you just gotta, you really have to go with it. And I think, I don't know if that's part of my nature or if it's become part of my nature because of the field work that I've done and the people I've encountered, but that's part of it.
I
And
think it is part
yeah,
of your nature. I think you build into that from,
yeah,
doing what you do, because there are people that will complain, at the Four Seasons. So, I mean,
sure. Yeah. Yeah, it's all about context, I guess. Yeah. I think
uh,
the big thing about that kind of scenario is you rely on the people around you. And the joy of what I do is connecting with people and exchanging with people. And that sort of supersedes any uncomfortable sort of moments.
now you've been connected with the Endangered Language Project. Talk to me a little bit about that.
I've been connected with a lot of endangered languages projects.
So languages are endangered. Is that a problem?
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of languages are endangered. So in the episode, I talk about how there's around 7,000 languages in the world. The other shade of that statistic is that 96% of the world speaks only 4% of those 7,000 languages. So that leaves a lot of languages that are not major languages. Not all of those are endangered, but a significant number are. And even further, a lot of those endangered languages aren't documented. They're not written down, they're not recorded in any capacity. Why does that matter? Uh, as I said, language isn't just a tool for communication. It encodes not just history and identity for the people that are speaking that language, but it encodes a lot of knowledge that's important to all of us. So you could have a plant that, the name for that plant and the way to manipulate that plant for some sort of medicinal purpose is encoded in the language. If that
Wow.
language dies, we lose that special thing that could have, helped us in some way.
In our final moments that we have, and thank you so much, what do you think audiences are going to take away from watching Pole to Pole?
Yeah, again, that same thing, that language isn't just this way that we talk to each other, that it's a living archive of knowledge, of history, and all of these languages, linguistic diversity matters for our collective story.
Mm. What's the rarest language on Earth?
Um, I don't think that that can be answered really. I mean, there are languages that have really rare sounds. There are languages that have, their own rare qualities, comparatively speaking. The most isolated language, that's also tricky to answer. There are languages, I would say, there are languages that have maybe one, two, or two speakers left,
Wow.
that kind of just have this linguistic memory because they don't have anybody to talk to. And I would say that that situation is maybe not as rare as we would like, but it is a serious one. And yeah, that would be what I would say.
Thank you so much for your time, and
Thanks, Tony.
I appreciate it. And wow, what a brain!
Oh, thank you. And
There
I
you go.
thank you for bringing the energy. It was really a joy to speak with you.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Thanks, you too.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.